Good evening, everyone. Um, there was a part in the newspaper that was talking about the oxygen issue in Jamaica, and the phrase that really speaks out to me is, "It is going to get worse," because I don't think during the COVID pandemic it's kind of been hard for me, and I don't think it's gonna get any better, really, with the whole pandemic and everything.
So you're saying that what you're seeing that it says that it's going to get worse because of the pandemic?
Yes. I don't think my attitude, my personality, I don't think it's gonna change further.
All right, let us see how we could do that, but how we can change that today. All right. Who is next? Kiba? Cornelia? Grace?
Happy Sabbath, everyone. So I'm seeing here where this says, if your family depend on you and your income, you need life insurance. This is, well, as it relates to me and my family, I'm very dependable. And I didn't realize it, but I'm seeing it now where they can always depend on me because I'm always coming through for them.
All right. Romaria. Anybody else over here already? Nothing at all speaks to you? Of course.
So my paper is saying a lot of stuff about financials. And you know, as a college student, you're going to be in a lot of debt. So it speaks to me in that way.
All right. All right. Nobody else is ready, or I should move on. I want a boy this time. I mean, Romar, no? All right, no problem. So let's carry on then. Let's carry on. All right, so for today, we want to talk about, like I said earlier, how is it that we choose our friends as Christians, and how is it that we seek to maintain those friendships that we have? We want to talk about the qualities of a friend as Christians. What are the qualities that we should look for in friends? And I want it to be a talkback session between myself and the youth, myself and the adults as well, because, you know, we want the adults to be giving the youth some feedback. Even though we don't have a lot this afternoon, at least there's still somewhere we could impart some knowledge too. True? All right. Now, we're all social beings, right? We were all made to socialize with others, and even though we're in a pandemic, you know, it kind of prevents us from socializing. But even so, as human beings, oftentimes we get lonely, and it is important for us to have that support system. Because I believe that during this time of COVID, it is a support system that will pull us through. God also, but you know, the physical being, we are able to communicate with somebody and have conversations with them. Am I making sense? All right. Even the Bible mentioned it in Genesis 2 and verse 18. In Genesis 2 and verse 18, God would have recognized that Adam could not survive by himself. And so he made Eve. Talk up to me. Right? He made Eve. So God recognized that it is not good for man to be alone. And man in that case wasn't talking about just a man. It was speaking about both a male and a female. And we're all pretty much familiar with the saying, no man is an island, no man stands alone. I want somebody to find for me Proverbs 18 and verse 24. Proverbs 18 verse 24, and read that for me. All right. So what it is saying is that we must be friendly and reach out to others. Now, if you find that you are at church as a youth, you have something to say? You find that you're at church and a youth comes up. Oftentimes, we find ourselves being afraid to interact with those persons because of some risk. What are some of those risks that prevent us from reaching out to that person? All right, I hear somebody saying how they respond. Yes, Lenelia? Right, pull down the mask, I'm not hearing. So she's saying that she would be afraid if they will judge her. You're saying something? You tell me something earlier, I know. You get nervous now? If they embarrass you, right? And so you find that if you want to go over to that person to have a conversation with them, you're afraid that you go over there and they will say, huh? Bite you. She said bite you. If that they will bite you based on how they react or how they interact with you. But even so, when we're looking for friends, it is important for us to reach out and to reach out to that person. Because if I am lonely, you are lonely, two of us come together, we're not lonely no more. Right? So that's how we go about making friends. We cannot find ourselves in a situation where we're saying we don't want to reach out to the person because we feel as if it's going to be risky. Pastor, is there anything biblical that we can use in that way that shows that God reached out to somebody?
You just did.
Huh?
You just did.
I just did. Right, in Proverbs 18 and verse 24, that we should reach out. Even God himself had friends. Jesus himself had friends. And who were those friends? His 12 disciples. And at the same time, even though he had 12 disciples, he had 3 who he had in his closer circle. Who were those?
Peter, James, John.
Huh?
Peter, James, John.
Wait, I'm not hearing. Lazarus?
Yes, the disciples.
Lazarus, isn't it Peter, James, and John? Yes, yeah, man, you get that point, man, but he had 3 best friends. That's what I said. The 3 best friends would be Peter, James, and John. He had other friends, including his disciples and others, but he had 3 friends in his inner circle, Peter, James, and John. Am I correct? I'm missing it? Yes, Ruthie?
The one whom you love. I think the distinction is when you said disciples.
When you said disciples?
You had 12 disciples?
So I was talking about the 12 disciples. I know that you have other friends outside of the 12 disciples. Yeah, man. But I was saying that from out of the 12 disciples, so he had a lot of friends, but he narrowed it down to only 3, Peter, James, and John. Right? So we're on the same track now? All right. Now, Ajeda, Romario, Lenelia, Danalio, what are some of the qualities that you look for in a friend? What are some of those qualities? Somebody who's supportive of whatever you do. All right. Danalio, yes, Lenelia. Somebody who is kind. Sister Grace, what are some qualities that you look for in a friend? And others think about it because they're coming around the room. All right, because it says that the friend that you keep tells you who you are, right? Yes, Sister Palmer. Honest. Somebody who tell you what is it. Undiluted. All right. Pastor, what are some qualities that you look for in a friend?
Loyalty.
Loyalty is one. Keep us the same values or what? Or morals. Values or morals. Let me find. Elder Murray, what are some qualities that you look for in a friend? The person must believe you believe in the same thing. Believe in you as a person, all right? Yes, Sister Doyle. Huh? encouraging. All right, yes, forgiving. All right. My backfire question is, do you have these qualities that you look for in a friend?
Mercy. Good
That's the
question.
question. Because one of the key points to making to having a friendship is you should also be willing to give back the same thing that you require. Right? And firstly, I don't want to say I missed the point, but one thing I want to mention is before you're able to make physical friends, I want to hear where I'm going. You get where I'm getting? Before you're able to make physical friends, you must be able to have a relationship with God. Because, here, Ajeda, you hear me? Because the earthly friend will fail you, but Jesus never fails. So have a relationship with God first. Pray and ask Him to find that friend to find that friend for you. Before you seek, because oftentimes we find ourselves going out to find somebody on our own, and then end up in trap, and we don't want that to be a case. All right, so I have some here. We mentioned them earlier, and it says that some things that we look for in a friend, we said earlier, similar values. Brother Roy, you have something to say? You want to say something? Oh. Can somebody look for me, look for 1 Corinthians 15 and verse 33. 1 Corinthians 15 and verse 33, and read that, what that says for me. So I want to make sure that when I was doing my presentation, I make sure that I find some biblical references to bring it across, because oftentimes we find ourselves not thinking about it biblically, or we just look at it from a right. So 1 Corinthians 15 verse 33. All right. So it says evil communication corrupts bad manners. In other words, if you keep bad company, you're going to inherit the bad company, the traits of the bad company. Right. So they said so even if it's a case where you find yourself, so you want to be in have a relationship, be in a friendly relationship with somebody who has the similar values, values that you have. That way, if the person is good, you have good conversations. That way you're able to uplift yourself, uplift each other. Right? Any points on that one before I move to the other one? In terms of similar values? No? All right. The next one, it says common traits. In terms of common traits, you want to find somebody who you and that person likes the same thing. You and that person likes the same. And so it makes it easier for you now to talk about singing. Let's say you and that person likes anime. You can speak to that person about anime. And let's bring it home. If you and that person is a Christian, it makes it easier for you to uplift each other biblically in Christ and so on. So you don't want somebody that's boring. So if you know that if you have a relationship with somebody who is outside of what you believe or outside of what you like, then it makes the relationship boring. So you want to have somebody who you can interact with, share the same ideas, share the same thoughts. Any thoughts on that one? Or hit the nail on the head. All right. The next one, qualities. You want somebody that's likable. Likable. Yes, Lydia. I like to see the hands. Somebody who what? Somebody who is not full of them. I have that somewhere down in the presentation. Some persons who are selfish. You don't want somebody who is selfish, right? So basically you're saying you want somebody who has a great sense of humor. Somebody who has nice personality. Somebody who you can, interact with. And it also speaks about style. Somebody who has great style. Not style that is exposing, but style that is, you know, you're dressed in a certain way, you behave in a certain way that shows that you are Christian, that you are a Christian. All right? Hmm? As long as they're not hype. Yes, Sister Green? All right. I have somewhere in that, like, right? Half full, not half empty. All right. The next point that I have, the next quality, and I think this one is the one that will put the lid on things. Somebody who is consistent over time. Agree? Someone who is consistent. You want a friend where you meet this year and 20 years from now, the same energy pull right through. Right through. That's the type of friend, the relationship in a friend that you want, the type of trait that you want in a friend. Yes, Lenelia? All right. So here we go. You said that. So Lenelia is saying that she would have had friendships of such nature before, but over time they just move away. So you know you lose a friend. I'm going to touch on that point shortly, Lenelia. Yes, Sister Blake? Right? Not a true friend. You're somebody who will be able to stand the test of time. No matter what happened, that person will still be with you. Right? Yes, Tanya? When you just run my presentation, so. Sure. I come in there, man. I come in only making some very solid points because when I was doing my, I'm not an expert, but you know, I did the research for the presentation, and I found some very salient points, some very interesting points that I think the youth need to understand, especially when they go to make friends. This year says the golden rule of friendship says that we be kind to a friend. Be the kind of friend that you want to have. Sorry. So it said that you should be the kind of friend that you want to have. So earlier I touched on the point that if you're going to, if you mentioned some traits, the same traits that you have or the same qualities that you want from somebody, you need to be able to reciprocate that same energy, reciprocate that type of quality, right? So do unto others, have them do unto you. The golden rule here says, if you want somebody to like you, then you make them feel good. If you want them to avoid you, make them feel bad. I see you laughing, Omar. Why are you laughing? You make somebody bad before they avoid you? Or you make them feel good and they stick around? Which one? In between? All right. So Ajeda is saying that when I say this, it is like I'm saying the friend is. Wait, oh, you're pretending as if you like the person. But I wouldn't want to say you're pretending. And that's why we talk about consistency earlier. You push on the same energy as you go along, even so you find a friend because you want somebody who is true, a true friend, and not somebody who has bad qualities. All right. Now for this part, earlier I asked my youth to think about some common problems that they may encounter or that they have encountered or some what ifs. How is it that we would respond to these scenarios? So Lenila is ready. Let's go. Let me just put out a disclaimer. I am no expert. And that is why I'm going to need my older folks to assist me where this is concerned. All right? So, you say backstabbing. What if a friend backstabs you? Oh, Lord. When you say backstabbing, give me some more details on that one. The, huh? You trust the person. So you're saying that you have a friend who's a hypocrite. Oh, so you share things with the friend, and instead of they go about and talk it to other persons, right? Hmm? Then you never have a true friend from morning. You never have a true friend from morning because remember you want a friend who is true, somebody who's able to you can share something with them, and you can say that that remains with you with you and that friend, right? So at that point, no. At that, I want to just piggyback for a second. If for now, I'm friends with Pastor Lindsay, and Pastor Lindsay backstab me about 2 years down the line, right? Should I just decide to leave or talk about it? Talk about it because communication is important. You're going to say talk about it now, Lenelia? All right. So if you're saying that you talk about it and it never worked, then that's no time for you to leave. That's no time for you to not be friends with that person anymore because you realize that the traits that you want are no longer with that person. Yes, Romario. Just sorry. Romario said some things are left better and left unsaid. Some things that I miss it. Thank you. Right? But in that case, I think if you realize that it is so, if you realize that it is just, so is it that you're just going to leave it and then allow it to continue and be friends with the person, or you're just going to leave? Which one? Let me hear what Romar is saying. You said make sure talk. All right, no problem. Yes, Lenelia? If they don't improve after you leave, because if you realize if you don't say it the first time and you realize that it continues, it means that it is a trait that they have, that it's something that is they inherit, so that they wouldn't be able to drop it. But I think that it's good to talk about it at the same time. Yes, Romar. So you make something when you end up you try to fix something, in the end you make it worse. Oh boy. Another point is she will talk about the situation and then just don't leave just not leave no second chance at all. So just talk about it and just move on. Yes, Tanya. Tanya was first. All right. So there's distance and time. Time. So I think so Ajay is saying that she didn't mean malice, but she mean just don't talk to the person at all. Or just put the person at a distance. You just love the person from afar, as we would put it. So I think that was where she was getting at, loving the person from afar and not malicing them, because you might find yourself in a situation where you're and somebody, or you and someone were friends, but you had a close relationship then, but maybe because of something that they did, or maybe you drift apart because of time, but you still talk to the person, but you love the person, but you're from afar. Yes, Sister Green? So you have a hierarchy of friends. So you have one who get the top secret, they want to get the top secret, and when we get the top, you know, that's where the secret. Oh, somebody said just the secret. So you have the top secret, the top secret, and just the secret. That's the type of friends. All right. Hmm? Right? Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Expectations is a thing as well. Just a second, Pastor. Yes, Lenelia? Mm-hmm. So you're saying whenever you don't have friends, you just talk to your family because your family. But sometimes you know you want little friends outside to just have different conversations with. Even though you don't want to hide anything from your family. Yes, Pastor. All right. So we're talking about acquaintances now, Pastor. All right. Yes, Ramar. What is your problem now that you have, or anybody, Ajeda or Danalia? Nothing. The problem or the situation, the what if? Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, so my question has two parts to it. It has a plot twist and the question itself. All right, so what if you have a female best friend, like you guys are both females and you're like the same person? What would you do?
A female answer indeed. So I need a female to answer that one. You, yes, yes, Grace. You're twisting the girl question. Are intimate as yours. Respect. But what if? But what if? What if? Let me just bring it clear. What if I like you intimately? The person like both of them like the person intimately. That's where I want agreement to leave. Both of you leave. All right. You hearing the points, Ajeda? Yes, yes, Tanya. Him like. Oh boy. All right, Sister Green. I see like you're making a little points to somebody, to either one of my sisters here. Both leave. All right. Yes, brother Dwyer. I come into your sister Champini. That was mentioned earlier. It was mentioned earlier. What if that person, that male, doesn't like either of the females? Or which one him like? Or which one he likes? So it is so basically the consensus is separate. Leave that person because you don't want any contention. Right? Ajeda, you gotta follow up. Separate from the person. So two friends, one male, separate from the friend. That's what he said. You have a different point, Sister Blake? Total breakup of relationship. But how will they fix that? Because it means that if both persons are in a sticky situation, it would be I think it might be hard for them to mend. Because if I like if both females like the same person and one separates. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If I say to take him on the friendship would have done because that means me I distance myself. No. Yes, right. But that is not something that we want to encourage though. We don't want to encourage that. So in other you can find other ways. As city hands are coming to you. You can find other ways of ending or making men's where it's concerned. Let me take the hands first. Sister Palmer, well, wait a second. Sister Champagny was first. Mm-hmm. All right. So it would simply mean now that we're getting that communication is what is key. Because if you won't be able to communicate with in a certain situation like this, then it would simply mean that the relationship will just go AWOL. Value the friendship. So valuing the friendship is important as well. Yes, Lenelia? Huh? Mm-hmm. You put them you don't, she said if both friends like the person, one friend should just keep it. But would that make you a good friend? If you're not sharing, even if it's not everything you share, but you and the person. All right, Ajeda, Sister Palmer. The guy likes. But maybe him not even know. Maybe him not even know the battle them go through between each other. Mm-hmm. In the friendship. Okay. My intimate basis. Okay. Um, in the other person. All right. Um, my teachers. I see you making some point to my sister here. I want to hear your points as well. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. because you value the friendship over the guy. Mm-hmm. My, you say friend. All right. All right. So so go far this time. All right. All right. Point noted. Ajada. Ooh. Yes, yes, Kiba. But Kiba, hold a second. Lenilia. Let me hear. All right. Yes, Kiba. But when I look at it now, from that perspective, so it all comes back to having a true friend, because at the same time, even though the guy might, for example, choose Kibashe, at the end of it, the other friend might become jealous. But it is important now, it all comes up, like we said, onto the true point aspect of it. Cool. All right. Yes, Lenelia?
I remember in grade 7, um, one of my friends, like, she was jealous because a boy like her best friend. She was jealous because physical altercation with the girl because she was jealous because that boy that she liked her best friend, and she became jealous because of that. And when I asked her later on, she said, denied it. No, I wasn't jealous of her.
Interesting. Interesting. All right. Let me see if I could find. Oh, we're not moving from this point.
Just one more point.
Mhm.
I understand what you were saying about our personal reaction to the situation. But from a human perspective, there's always going to be a conflict if that guy stays with one of the friends. There's always going to be a conflict. Because even though we can't control the whole situation, if the guy stays with one person, no matter how good friends you are, there's going to be a conflict. There is going to be a, because even if okay he decided to stay with me instead of you, that's my perspective. I have seen cases. All right, I have been in a relationship before where I found out at the I was dating this guy, right? And I found out, because I decided now to go to the next level. And based on my investigation, talking to one of my friends about this guy, what do you think about this guy? She was talking to the guy also. As you said, the key thing in that is communication. Because I went to my friend and she told me that, when we start describing the personality, and the name came up, she was talking to the same guy. And we didn't know because it was a different parish. But we met on different occasions. And we came to an agreement. It's as she said, it boils down to the male.
To make the final agreement, a
But,
final decision.
but the best thing is for the guy to go.
Once they value the relationship.
Best friends, it's not gonna cause a lot of conflict. If the guy stays with either other person, it's going to cause conflict.
Right. All right. So time is winding down. So I won't be able to take the other problems, Ajada. But there are three things that we must take into consideration as well. The first one is body language. So body language speaks a lot about somebody, because you might see somebody over that side with a face that looks disgusted, but you don't want to go to that person because of the way their approach, the way they look. They don't look appealing, so you don't want to go to them. So body language is something that's important whenever you're trying to look for a friend, or whenever you're in a relationship with somebody or a friend. What if that's your nature? Well, that's true, because oftentimes you find somebody with some very awful facial expression, some very awful face, like resting face, but when you get to know them, they are a bundle of joy, right? So sometimes the person just look a certain way. The next thing is that you don't want everything to be about you. You know, you have some friends where you go to them with a certain situation and you are talking about it. You are feeling bad about the situation. And at the same time, the person just jump in and say, I was that, I was this, I was there, I wasn't there, I didn't do that, my mother did this. You know, you want somebody who is willing to share both you and themselves the situation. Try to share the situation with each other and not just with us, just one person having that conversation amongst themselves. Competition, right? I think that was a point that was mentioned earlier, not making somebody who is selfish. The final one is too much negative. Too much negative. You don't want somebody who is negative all the time, always negative. Somebody who is positive, spread some positive lights in your life while you do the same for them as well, right? Now, let me ask, is there anybody here who has a lot of friends but just not a best friend? A lot of friends but not a best friend. All right, not a best friend. Now, during my research, I saw that it says that we should have 3 or more friends. 3 or more. It is not a problem if we don't have best friends, but we should have 3 or more friends. And I would have recognized that this theory works for me when I have more than one friend, not having a single out best friend. What happens is that it makes it easy. It allows you to make some better decisions, I want to say. What that is, some time ago I was trying to make a decision and I sent a message in a chat with quite a few friends. And you find that one friend is saying, I see like that person, and the other person will say, I don't see that person, and then it continues. One person saying that, one person saying the other thing. And then from that point, it now allows you to look into yourself to see which one you think is best for you, which one you think would be the better choice? So it's important for us to have three up to three or more friends to allow us to help us in our decision making. And earlier I did mention it that even Christ himself had more than one friends. And we said that Peter, James, and John were his closest friends in terms of having a close relationship with them. Now, in closing, are there any other points before I give my closing thought? Donalio? Hmm?
Okay. So, what if my friend and I told a lie on the elder, then my friend denied it? What if my friend and I told a lie on the elder, then my friend denied it, saying it was my idea when it was theirs?
So wouldn't that fall back on the backstabbing earlier that was mentioned, right? Because you both of you planned it out, right? But at the end of the day, one person denying it. Yes, Wayne? Yeah, but what we're trying to get across is that he's taking the blame off himself, is himself, because both of them plan it. Hmm? All right. So a point was made earlier that you know your true friend when you're reaching certain situations. When trouble fit you, when trouble take your pitney shot fit you. All right. Then think a cool breeze. The decision to know. But but Wayne, if you look at it this way, what if the person just lies point blank? All right. All right. So thank you everyone. We're winding down. Now, when it's all said and done, we all need to have a close friend. But at the same time, remember that we need to allow God to be our close friend first. When we're earlier, it was said that when you're trying to make a relationship or have a relationship with a friend, it is you should ask the question, what can I do to benefit and love my friend, and not what that friend can do for you, right? To have healthy friends, it is important to reach out to others and treat others how we would want them to treat us. We should try to speak with persons who are less popular, because you want somebody who is alone and just like you to want to come together, like I said earlier, and you're able to propel the friendship and also to make good friends. But when we're choosing friends, we should pray and ask God to direct us to that faithful friend. And remember, we talked about it earlier, Proverbs 18 and verse 24. If we want friends, we must be friendly. Thank you, everybody. I should do Vespers. Oh, All right. So I just gave my closing thought. Is there a song that we would like to sing? Any special song? All right, 311. I would be like Jesus. 311. 311. Let us stand.